Hi everybody, my name is Erin and I am a professional yapper, so let's yap. This is going to be a series that I'm going to start on my YouTube channel, and I just love to talk, so I'm going to talk to you guys. And if you want to listen, hit the subscribe button because, like I said, I talk a lot. So in this series, I really want to talk about a few different things that I have in my mind off the bat. So I'm obviously going to be making a lot of videos covering just different subjects on different subjects. I think that I can give some, advice or just talk about different subjects all day long. My family tells me that I talk way too much, and I've probably said enough words in my life to fill all of their lives. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about on my Professional Yapper series is actually insurance. I think that a lot of people don't know enough about insurance, and I actually work in the field, so I think that I can give some insight that a lot of people aren't aware of. So the first subject on insurance that we're going to talk about is actually car insurance or auto insurance. Now, you always hear everybody just say, oh yeah, you have to have car insurance. And you call the company and you say, yep, give me car insurance. This is my car. This is my information. Okay, done, done, done. Well, you really need to know more than just you have car insurance. The first thing that you need to know is your liability limits. Each state has different liability limits. And each state has a minimum liability limit, and that is what makes your policy legal in that state. In the state that I live in, our minimum liability level, if you're looking at your paper, how it reads is $25,000, $50,000, $25,000. And I will explain those numbers in just a moment. So those are the minimum liability limits. Each state is different. There usually are about, some states are only 10,000, 20,000, 10,000. Some states like mine are 25, 50, 25. Some are 30, 60, 30. It just depends, but they're all very low per se like that. So the first thing that you need to know with those numbers is the first number. 25. That is your personal bodily injury liability. So that is what you are responsible for. If you hit somebody in a car accident, driving down the road, and you hit somebody, you are responsible for their medical bills. And that is that first number. That is per person, bodily injury. So the first number is bodily injury liability per person. Now what that means is if you hit somebody and they go to the hospital, like I said, you're responsible for their medical bills. So the insurance company is willing to pay out on your behalf whatever number you have for that first number. And if you have state minimum, in my state is $25,000. And you might say, oh, okay, $25,000, that's a lot of money. That's perfect. That's good. State minimum's fine. No, it's not. And I'll tell you why. Because if you send somebody to the hospital and they stay there for one day, okay, that might not be $25,000. But I can guarantee if they were hurt enough to go to the hospital, they're probably going to go to another doctor. They might go to a specialist to check something out. They might go to a physical therapist. Depending on their injuries, they might have to have, surgery of some sort. And so you're adding on to that. And more than likely, at some point, that is going to go over that $25,000. And once it does, the insurance company will not pay any more money on your behalf for their medical bills. You are going to have to come out of pocket for the rest. So that's why that first number is very important, because that is how much money the insurance company will pay out on your behalf if you hurt somebody in a car accident. Now, that second number, minimum of $50,000 in my state, is per accident bodily injury. So that means that if you hit that car and there's 2 people in it, then that means that each person can get no more than your first number of $25,000, and obviously, between the 2 of them, they can get no more than the second number of $50,000. Now, say there's 3 people in the car. Okay? The driver's really hurt. They take up a whole $25,000 for their medical. The passenger and the back seat rider are semi-hurt. Because your second number is $50,000, those 2 people, the passenger and the backseat driver, have to share that second $50,000 or $25,000. They have to share that second $25,000 so that between all 3 of them, there is no more than $50,000 paid out. So again, $25,000 per person. $50,000 per accident. So no person can get more than $25,000. No accident can get more than $50,000. Now your third number, again, state minimum, my state, $25,000. That is your property damage. That is how much the insurance company is willing to pay out on your behalf to fix the other person's car. Now, if you hit a $10,000 car, well, then you're more than likely okay, because 25 is higher than the 10. But you hit a nicer car that's worth $40,000, which is more likely than a $10,000 car, then you are going to have to come out of pocket for the remainder after the 25 that the insurance company will pay out on your behalf. So you really need to know what your liability limits are in insurance, because you need to know if you're in an accident, if you cause an accident, how much is the insurance company willing to pay out on your behalf? Is it going to be enough? Or are you going to have to struggle and find a way to make up the difference? Because that can be life-changing. The point of insurance is to protect yourself financially so that an accident can't put you into a financial debt or struggle or make you homeless. That's the point of insurance, because even if you're paying $200, $300, $400 a month for your insurance, that is a lot cheaper than you having to pay $25,000 for medical bills for somebody else, or to fix somebody else's car that's not even yours. So the next thing that your line items are in your insurance is collision. Collision is the part of insurance that protects your car. Now, that's where you always hear somebody say there's a deductible, and those deductibles can be somewhere. Sometimes they're zero, sometimes they're all the way to $2,000. A sweet spot that I like to use is $500. Sometimes I'll use $250, but I like to use $500 because that's a good sweet spot for everybody usually. So what collision is if you, let's go back to that first accident, you hit that car, so you're at fault, and you need your car fixed or totaled. So that's where, if you have collision on your policy, you can get the money to total or fix your car. If you do not have collision, then you are on your own to get a new car or to fix it. The next line item is comprehensive. Comprehensive also has a deductible tied to it. And comprehensive is for things that aren't necessarily your fault, but there's nobody else to put the blame on, such as a deer running out in the road, a hailstorm coming through, a tree branch falling and crushing your car. Things that aren't necessarily your fault, but the tree doesn't have an insurance policy. The deer doesn't have an insurance policy. So you have to go through yours. And that's where, if you have comprehensive, you pay your deductible and the insurance company takes care of the rest. If you do not have comprehensive, then again, you are on your own to fix your car. So I always tell people, when they are questioning if they should have comprehensive or collision, is ask yourself, if something happened to your car and it was totaled today, could you afford to go out and buy a new car on your own? Or would you need the money from your car being totaled, traded in order to buy a new car? If your answer is you need the money from your car in order to buy a new car, then you need to have comprehensive and collision. It's just going to save you in the future, in the long run. Because again, insurance, you're paying for protection, you're paying for time. You're not paying for a service per se. You're paying to have financial protection in a way. So that is comprehensive and collision. There's only 2 more line items left, and then we're done with car insurance. So the second to last line item is uninsured. In my state that I live in, uninsured is required to be on an insurance policy in order to make it legal. Those also have liability limits like the 25, 50, 25. And those stand for the same things: per person, per accident, property damage. Now the difference is uninsured actually protects you. If somebody hits you and they run away, a hit and run, or if somebody just simply does not have insurance and they have hit you, that's where you have protection under your own policy to go to get your medical bills covered and your car fixed. But again, those limits are what you pick and are subject to what the insurance company will pay out. So if you're involved in a hit and run and they put you in the hospital for 2 weeks, but you only have $25,000 of uninsured, that's all they're going to pay. So I would also say that you need to have those limits a little higher as well. The third and final one of liability for insurance is underinsured. underinsured is optional in my state. However, I recommend that everybody have it because, again, you never know what's going to happen. And there are a lot of people driving with only those state minimum coverages that I just spoke about. So underinsured is if you are in the case that somebody hit you and they only have those state minimum coverages. So the insurance company is only going to pay out $25,000 for your medical bills, but you've been in the hospital for a whole week and a half. That's where once their insurance is done paying that $25,000 and they say we're out of money, you have two options. You can get a lawyer and you can, I guess, maybe sue them, but that's, going to be really hard if they don't have money already. You may not see or get much out of that. Or you can go to your insurance and file an underinsured claim, and they can pay whatever your liability limits are on that line item in addition to what this insurance company has paid, so that you aren't having to go get a lawyer or come out of pocket your own self for the rest of your medical bills or for your car being fixed. Like if you do have a $40,000 car and somebody has hit you and they only have $25,000 of property damage, you can go to your underinsured and they can possibly provide the rest of the amount up to your limits to fix your or total your car. So that is auto insurance really quickly bundled up. And that's just how to understand your policy and why it's so important to know what you actually have. I am going to be talking about home and renters insurance as well as life insurance. So if you are interested in hearing about those, please hit the subscribe button. I am just starting my YouTube journey, so I would love to do it with you. If you could hit the subscribe button, that would mean so much to me. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.